Good afternoon, friends. How are you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. All right, I'm Ede David Chibuzo, and I'm a 400 level student of the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences of the prestigious University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and I'm here live present before you for a particular purpose. Now, I do understand that many UTME students have been making inquiries about how to score 300 and above in their UTME examinations that are forthcoming. And as a candidate of the UTME in 2018 that scored a score of 313, I'm here to show you exactly the processes you can go through that will help you to even score much more higher than that particular score in your UTME examination. Now, at the time you're watching this video, you either probably have so much time for you to stay able to cover, or probably you have a very short time for you to cover. Now, any of the scenario you are in, you are still going to be taken care of appropriately by the tips I'm going to be sharing in this video. So I will start with those persons that are probably watching this video at the time when they still have enough time for them to read. Now, one of the secrets I had that helped me to ace my UTME examination is the fact that I got to know about Jamb syllabus. That is the syllabus of Jamb that contains the vital areas from which they are going to set questions in those core subjects that I needed for me to gain admission. Now, during my own time, the courses I had to do was English, physics, chemistry, and biology. These three courses were the things I needed to do. So in JAM syllabus, I quickly went and checked all the topics that were necessary for me to cover. Now you have a similar topic there in as what you have in YX. So but then specifically for JAM has their syllabus. You could always go online to go and get those syllabus if you don't have a hard copy. So I read alongside with the syllabus of JAM. The implication is that I was on point with everything they wanted me to know. So that gave me an edge to be much more prepared than an average student that just read randomly or just tries to read everything. The syllabus gives you what you need to read and helps you to avoid what you should not read. But this reading with syllabus is only applicable when you still have a whole lot of time for you to study. Now, if you do not have a lot of time for you to study, now the next tips I'm going to be sharing is going to be applied to you alongside those persons that have a lot of time to study. Now, for you to be able to achieve any goal, nobody gets goals just achieved anyhow. For you to be able to achieve any goal, you must have set the goal. So what I simply mean by that is that first of all, you have to have a JAMB score in mind. You have to have a JAMB score in mind that you target. I happen to be a person that is being driven by the culture of excellence. Yes, I like excellence in anything I'm doing. So before I wrote my jam, I already had a high score in mind. My idea was to score so high that whenever they see my results, the people that are processing admissions, they will not have an option than to give me admission because the result is very, very good. So with this particular goal in mind to score very high score, obviously that would be over 300. Yeah, that would be over 300. I was even targeting if I could even get to 350. So but then you see that knowing that I have such a score in mind, I took my studies very seriously. I took my studies very seriously and I got to 313. Even my post-UTME, I even did more. My post-UTME, I scored 333, telling you how much that vision of having a very high score had been able to drive me to my place of study. So you must have a score in mind. You don't just come and you're preparing for JAM and you don't even know what you want. You're just telling yourself, just any score, just anything that is high. Just anything that is high is not a goal. A goal is you must have something specific that you're aiming for. For another person, it could be just 300. For another person, it could just be 320. If they can score 320, they are good to go. For some other persons, it may just be 350. For some other person, it may even be 400. It's not out of place. You can even become the highest, you might be the candidate with the highest score in UTM in the whole of Nigeria, and you could attract some level of, financial benefits that will come to you, especially when you are recognized by the authorities in charge of the UTME examination. So it's very important, first of all, that you have a JAM score in mind. That is one thing. The other thing again is, why exactly are you writing the UTME examination? For many, it's actually for them to get admission. If you have any other reason why you're writing it, probably for testing purpose or whatever, it's still not out of place for you to give it your best. So, but then for those of you that are writing the examinations, which majority are in this category, for you to gain admission, you must also have your admission vision in mind. You must understand that in Nigeria currently, there are a whole lot of candidates that are waiting to enter into university. And we do not have a lot of tertiary institutions that can be able to accommodate all of these persons at once. The implication is that we are going to be having a whole lot of competition. I mean, serious and rough and dogged competition. So for you to be able to stand the test of time when it comes to those competition, you must be an outstanding student. You must be an excellent student. So if you think you want to write this examination and still be able to get admission, then you must sit up. For myself, when I was writing the examination, I was looking forward to an admission. I was not just writing it just for writing sake. I wanted to get an admission, and today I'm already in 400 level. And this can also be your story too. If you have an admission vision in mind, do you want to get admitted after writing your Jamb, your UTME examination, and your probably if you are going to write post-UTME, your post-UTME? Do you want to study that your dream course? You don't want to just be chased around in different courses. Then you must take your time to study appropriately. With admission vision in mind, you will definitely have to sit up. You will not be sleeping around when you're supposed to be awake and then you are reading. Now, another thing again you have to take note of is the fact that you don't have all the time in the world to prepare for JAM. You don't have all the time in the world to prepare for JAM. So the implication is that you must take your time management seriously. Myself, I don't play around when it comes to serious things. And for UTM examination, it is a very, very serious matter. You don't want to waste your time scrolling through Facebook for 24 hours, looking for nothing, scrolling through Instagram, watching reels that will not help to add any single knowledge with regards to the course that you are going to be writing in examination. You don't want to waste your time watching movies, watching television when your vision for your life is not even in place. You are just busy whiling away time. That is not going to help you achieve anything. Now, is watching television bad? It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's actually very fun for entertainment. Is going through Instagram reels bad? No, it's not bad in any way. Is going through Facebook post bad? It's not bad in any way. But there's something the scripture says. It says that there's time for everything. Your JAM is fast approaching. Your UTM examination is fast approaching. You can't be spending time on irrelevant things and expect to have a score that is above 300. It doesn't work that way. When I was preparing for my own examination, I had to shut down every form of distraction. I happen to be a gamer. I play games a lot. PS, that's Pro Evolution Soccer. I play it a lot. But when I had to prepare for JAM, I had to keep all of those things aside, knowing that first of all, I want to score a very high score so that I can stand out. Then second, understanding that admission is like the major goal of women writing the JAM and it's very competitive. It means I have to put in a whole lot of effort. And seeing that I don't have all the time in the world for me to prepare for JAM, I have to ensure that I read for it appropriately. Take notes. If you don't get admission this year after writing your UTME, you may have to wait for another UTME again. And that is a whole lot of time to spend at home when you could be able to shoot your shots once and for all and get this thing done. So a sense of urgency, understanding that you don't have all the time in the world is still very important for you to have that in your mind. It will keep you in place. Now, this next point I want to mention is very, very important. Don't joke with it. I repeat, don't joke with it. When I was preparing for my JAM, my parents had to get me JAM past questions. I tell you the truth, this is a lifesaver. JAM past questions. It's a statement that is made in the book of Ecclesiastes. The Bible said that there is nothing new under the sun. That statement is also relatable to JAM. There is no kind of question that JAM wants to ask you that somehow they've not asked it in previous years. They have been writing JAM for years, like a whole lot of years now. So some of the questions, what happened is that some of them, they just recycle them. They pick from here, and then probably add some few new ones, and then they upload in their system, and you go into the hall to write. So what does past question help you to do? I said, I'm not saying you should go and read past question. I'm saying when you are studying, study alongside past question. The implication is that you have your textbook, you have your materials, you also have the past question close to you. So when you have done with reading, you are done with studying, you test what you have gained by looking at the past question. When you begin to look at the past question from different years, you are able to solve and get the answers to all of those past questions. As you keep repeating that practice, some of the questions, the answers will be sticking to your head. Now, what advantage does this give to you rather than another student that just only read textbook? This is the advantage it gives to you. Now, when you go to write your JAM examination, you usually will not have a lot of time. Yes, JAM actually wants you to have speed and accuracy. They want you to be fast and they want you to be accurate at the same time. Now, for a student like me that used past question to study, and then I entered the hall, and then I began to see some questions that I had already seen in the past questions. You see, that's already a bonus for me. Some of those questions, because of how much and many times I've went through them, the answers are already in my head. The moment I see the question, I don't even need to do anything. I don't even need to crack it. I've answered this thing outside the hall before. So what I just simply do is to click the answer, move to the next question. It has secured time for me. Another person that read textbook that also saw the answers on the textbook. The person may need to solve, press calculator if it is physics or mathematics. The person may need to think about it, look at the option before he choose the right answer. Now, think about the right answer, but the problem is the person will not be slower. But you that have studied with past questions, have mastered it, you know that what you're even selecting is, first of all, you are sure it is correct, and second of all, you are doing it as fast as possible because you have always interacted with past questions. When you are studying for your Jamb, please make sure you study alongside Jamb past questions. As you read, you solve past questions. As you read, you go through past questions. Try to get the answers at your fingertips. If you can be able to do it, your Jamb, you shouldn't be having so much issues in the hall. So much so that when you enter into the hall and then you find questions that you're not able to answer, you are aware that such kind of questions, there are only a few of them in the bulk of the questions you can answer. If you can answer 90% correctly, you know what that means. Your score is already way over 300. I studied with Jamb past questions and I made the very, very brilliant score. In fact, in my secondary school then, I happened to be the highest with that particular score. So you too can do very well and even more than this if you are studying alongside Jamb past questions. So it is very, very important you take note of that. Now, this very important point now applies to those persons. Now, I know most of my audience will be science students. So, but then those science students that are also involving mathematics, that's probably those persons that are studying engineering. Because I'm doing a health-related course, I don't need mathematics. So, but some persons that are doing engineering courses, you obviously have to do mathematics. Now, one very important thing is for you to learn how to solve without calculator. Now, most of the Jamb questions, Jamb structure their question, you understand it's CBT and it's going to be very fast. They structure their question in such a way that even without a calculator, there are some of the questions you should be able to answer without having to touch your calculator. Now, you must begin to master the tip of how to solve such questions without touching your calculator. What is it going to help you? Remember I said they need speed and accuracy. So while you are learning how to solve, also learn how to solve without having to press your calculator, because if you know how to do that, it will save you the time that you would have used to bend down and begin to press your calculator and calculate while your time is counting away. So you must begin to master those things while you are studying for physics, while you're also studying for mathematics. And because you're also working with past questions, it means that some of the questions you see in your hall, you must have seen them before and you can go to get the answers as simply as possible. So it's very important you master how to solve with calculator. I mastered that. Yes, I mastered that for my physics and it's really helped a whole lot. It's really helped a whole lot. Now, one other thing again I want to mention is for every UTME examination, usually what you do are 4 courses. But then we are all different kind of students. I'm a kind of student that I love science courses a lot, but I have a problem with one particular course, and that course is English language. What do I mean by have a problem with English language? Is that I don't do well in English. I do very well in English, but when I compare my performance in English with relation to chemistry, physics, and biology, my performance in chemistry, physics, and biology is way greater than whatever I get in I can be able to get in English language. I have already seen that my strengths are not in English, not in English language. My strength is in chemistry, physics, and biology. So this is what I did. What I simply did was I ensured I channeled major part of my energy to making sure that I understand the basics, everything I needed to understand in chemistry, everything I needed to understand in physics, and everything I needed to understand in biology. And then the remaining strength, and I'll try to see as much as I can gather in English language. What was the idea behind this? If I can score very well in chemistry, if I can score very well in biology, if I can score very well in physics, and then the one I'm not able to gather in my English language, with that my score has already gone beyond 300 naira, 300 plus. Now let us do an analogy. Let me assume that in your chemistry you had, let's say you had 80. In your physics, for example, you had 80. In your biology, you had 80. Now, if you add 80 plus 80, that is 160. If you add another 80 to that, what you're going to be having is 240. The implication is that if in your English language, the only thing you score is 60% in your English language, if you are using normal grading system, we'll call that B. I don't know if you're getting it now. If what you scored in your English language is 60%, you're already at 300 with 80, 80, 80. And I understand that if you apply the tips I've been mentioning from the start of this video till now, some of those scores will not be 80, some of them will be 90, some of them will be 90 something. I don't know if you're getting it now. Some of them will be way beyond 80. So when you add all of those things together, and then for somebody like me that have issues with English, little issues, even if what I just score in the English language is 60, I have gone past 300. For those students that are very good in everything, congratulations to you. Your possibility of getting 300 is already settled. All you just need to do is to apply these tips. But my focus now in this tip I'm sharing now is for those persons that are not good in all subjects. For some other persons, they may be like, I know English very well, I know chemistry very well, I know biology very well, but you see physics, it is my weakness. What I'm telling you now is that you should focus on the area of your strength. Meanwhile, don't neglect the area of your weakness. Do you understand the balance? Focus on the area of your strength, but yet don't neglect the area of your weakness. Now, what does focusing on the area of your strength does? It helps to boost your score from that point. If you know you are good at chemistry, why not aim for 90? If possible, say 100 in chemistry. There's a quote that goes this way. It says, if you aim for the sun, even if you do not hit the sun, somehow you may either hit the stars or hit the moon, just something around there, but at least you got it. But if you aim for nothing, you are not going to get anything at the end of the day. So you can tell yourself, in this game, let me see if I can get 100. I have been applying it in my own university experience, and I know what the results has been like so far. You can tell yourself, let me see if I can get 100. You are pushing for it very hard. Then when the result comes out and you are saying something like 91, you are something like 96, it has already created a very, 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 very good platform for your score to go beyond 300. So when you focus on your strengths and then you make sure that you work on your weaknesses too, then scoring above 300 is not going to be your problem. Now, this point I want to mention now is like my last point for this particular video. And the point is the fact that for me personally, I employed the help of God. What I did is I depended on God. Now, there's a quote that I got to know when I got into this school. It says, pray as if you have not read, and read as if you have not prayed. That means you put in a lot of work, and at the same time you pray as if you have not done anything. Now, the implication is that you are doing your best naturally, and you're also trusting God for supernatural enablement. Now, I know some of you may not have this kind of belief I have. There's no problem. I'm just sharing my secrets that got me the score that brought me into this particular university. If you have more secrets, that's fine, but this is my own secret. So while I've employed all of these tips, I also trusted God to help me. He granted me understanding, helped me to be able to ace everything I did, and today I'm in 400 level, and very soon I'll be graduating from the university. So I want to believe that you have been able to get these tips I've been able to share. Now let me reiterate them one after the other. I said for those that have so much time, you will want to read with Jamb syllabus so I know what to focus on and know the things not to focus on. Second of all is that you want to have a target Jamb score. If you are not aiming for anything, you will not get anything. You must have a target Jamb score. Don't just say you want to score a high score. Tell us exactly what you are looking at. It will help you to know the kind of effort to put in. The other one I talked about is to have admission vision. I said for many of you are writing it to get admission. So if admission is not in your mind, then I don't know why exactly you need a high score. So, but if admission is in your mind and you know that admissions can be very competitive, then you must sit up and study very well for your UTMA. The other one again I mentioned is that you must study alongside your past questions. While you're reading your textbook and your materials, make sure you look at past questions. You can also look at some summaries. Summaries can help you, especially when the time is very short, but make sure you study appropriately and also work with past questions. I said for those courses that will require calculation like physics and mathematics, you must also master how to solve without your calculator. You still have a lot of time. I'm telling you, 24 hours is even a lot of time, just in case you're watching this video a day to your jam. Yes, you can still be able to do it, but I believe by now you must have already started reading. And even if you're not started reading, the moment you end this video, open your books and start reading. Yes, open your book and start reading. There's no time. I told you before, Jamb requires speed and accuracy, and you cannot achieve that by sleeping away, by watching television, by scrolling through Facebook, wasting your time that you don't even have. Remember, you don't have all the time in the world to prepare for Jamb. And I said you should focus on your strengths while at the same time you are not neglecting your weakness. You're also ensuring you build your weakness alongside, and then also depend on God as if your life depends on Him. And while you read as if you have not prayed and pray as if you have not read, at the end of the day, putting these tips together, you should want to come out with great results. So I'm looking forward to see that you score above 300 in your Jamb even as you apply these tips. Thank you so much, and I believe you have gained from this particular video. You can like and subscribe to this particular channel to get more tips that will help you to ace your missions, whether UTME or just any of them, and you'll be good to go.